Olivia, let me tell you about something that has been heavy on my heart for a long time. You sound serious, Emily. What happened? I once had a close friend who constantly complained about her husband every single day. That must have been exhausting for you. It was, but I truly cared about her and wanted to help. She said her husband was too quiet and never expressed his feelings. Some men are naturally reserved, though. Exactly what I told her, but she insisted it meant he did not love her.
Oh dear.
Then she complained that he worked too much and did not spend enough time at home. He was hardworking and responsible. I advised her to appreciate his efforts and communicate calmly. At least he was providing for the family. I advised her to communicate calmly instead of attacking him and also create peaceful moments at home so he would feel safe to open up. But she often brushed off my suggestions. Why would she do that? She preferred sympathy over solutions, which can be dangerous in a marriage. For a while, she pretended to listen.
Pretended?
Yes, she would thank me, but later accused me of defending her husband.
That must have hurt you.
It did, especially when she started calling me a bad friend. Just because you told her the truth? Exactly. She said I was not supportive enough. I told her that real friendship sometimes means saying uncomfortable truths.
And how did she react to that?
She became disturbed sharing with me for a while. Unfortunately, things got worse instead. She continued criticizing her husband openly and comparing him to other men. Comparing is very dangerous. I tried one last time to tell her to build him up instead of tearing him down.
That was kind of you.
She said I did not understand her pain. It was heartbreaking because I truly wanted her marriage to succeed.
That must have been frustrating.
One day she called me crying harder than ever. She said her husband had started coming home very late.
That sounds serious.
She checked his phone and found messages from another woman. She was furious and blamed him entirely. Did you ask her what led to that point?
Yes.
She admitted they had barely spoken kindly to each other for months. One day she called me crying harder than ever. She said her husband had left the house.
Oh no.
He had grown tired of constant disrespect. She started saying I always took her husband's side and that's because I only wanted peace in her home.
What else did she complain
Buy
about?
her expensive gifts like other husbands did. I told her appreciation matters more than exchange. She rolled her eyes and said I did not understand romance. I reminded her that respect fuels romance. She accused me of preaching. Some people mistake wisdom for criticism. I kept encouraging her to speak kindly. I kept encouraging her to speak kindly to him.
Kind words can soften a hot heart.
I warned her that constant criticism would push him away. She laughed and said he would never leave her. Overconfidence can blind someone. Months passed and he never came home or called. I told her it was not too late to fight for her marriage. Also, counseling and sincere apologies can heal wounds, and she said she would.
That was thoughtful of you.
I told her that pride can destroy relationships. She said I sounded like her husband.
That must have stung.
It did, but I stayed calm to show maturity. Weeks later, she called with devastating news that her husband has moved in with the other woman. She cried and said she never imagined it would happen. She finally admitted she had pushed him away, which was a painful realization. That must have been bittersweet for you. Reality can be harsh. She said she remembered all my advice and she was wrong to call me a bad friend. That shows growth at least. But by then, her marriage was broken and he had already filed for divorce. She told me the other woman appreciated him and spoke kindly to him. She realized too late that constant complaints had consequences and watching her suffer was painful. That is as a hard truth. Sometimes people only understand when consequences arrive, thereby learning the hard way. I tried my best, but she bluntly refused to listen to me. Friendship sometimes requires tough honesty, and marriage requires humility every single day. Sometimes people only understand when consequences arrive, thereby learning the hard way. I tried my best, but she bluntly refused to listen to me. I urged her to reach out to her husband and at least hear from him to know the reason for his decision or speak to his lawyer. He bluntly refused to pick her calls and I followed her to see his lawyer, but after all we discussed, we still did not reach at any tangible reason. So heartbreaking. At the end, she signed the divorce letter and when the marriage was finally dissolved, she really broke down with regrets and frustrations. I can't imagine the reality. Few months later, she relocated and faced an entire new environment to enable her heal from her past. Yeah, that will really help her. Her major challenges was comparing her husband and she was not patient enough to see the best in him. You really have a point. Every woman should try and manage her home as long as there's no form of domestic abuse or violence. There's no perfect marriage and nobody is the winner. Olivia, let's go to the kitchen. I want to cook vegetable sauce and unripe plantain and I believe you may like it. I can't wait after this heartbreaking story. Honestly, anytime I remember her, I do imagine if I can change everything and bring them back together again. You're such a beautiful soul. The last time I called her, she sounded better and I encouraged her to start up a business since she acquired some skills back then, or look out for jobs. All right, hands are almost clean. Perfect. I'm so excited to start cooking. Me too. Let's do this.